Hi everyone. This is going to be the pre-lab for lab 3, which is going to be part 2 of our neuropsychology lab. So we left off after finishing question 5. We're going to jump in at question 6. So go ahead and make sure you set up your R again. You might have to re-download some stuff if you're using a lab computer. So as always, make sure you read your libraries. If for some reason they're not installed, go ahead and install them by uncommenting and running that code. And then let's get in the habit of always setting our working directory to the folder we're working out of. So I'm working on this file path, so that's what mine is going to look like, and that'll just kind of make our lives easier. You should be able to skip down to question 6, except make sure you run this first line of code from question 3 so that we have our data. After that, I can skip down to question 6. Let's just kind of remind ourselves what we were doing last. So for question 5, we created this subset of data, right? You'll see it pop up here where I'm only looking at the control group, right? I'm making the subset where our data have group equal to control, right? And then I'm looking at kind of these effects of length and context just for the control group. Now, if we go to question 6, looks like very similar code, except we have not equal to control. So we're looking at the amnesic group. And again, we're going to kind of look at these differences, these effects, but just for the amnesic group. Now I'm going to skip down a little bit. Just going to load in the data from question 8, and then I'm going to skip down to question 10. So this part might give some people some issues. If you're on R version 4.2, you should be fine. If you're on version 4.3 or 4.4, you're going to get the same error I'm about to get. So after you create the subset, you try and run the t-test, it's going to say, cannot use paired in formula method. So basically, kind of as R updates, they try and get rid of redundancies. So, right, if we're already specifying some sort of formula, they don't also want us to say paired. So what we can do is, this is kind of a little workaround, is there's a different t-test function that's a little older, so they haven't updated it to have that restriction yet. So if we change the dot to be an underscore, to be an underscore, we can run it and we won't get quite the same kind of like output table, but we will be able to run our t-test, look at the t-value, degrees of freedom, and our p-value, right? Um, Now, if we want the same output table, we can leave it kind of as that and just get rid of this paired equals true statement, and we'll get our group means. But notice that the statistics are going to be off, right? So up here, we had a significant effect because we're comparing people to themselves. But down here, it's not significant because we're assuming that they're kind of two independent groups, which they're not. So, right, those are kind of two ways to extract the same values. A little clunky, but yeah, that's kind of how you should do the workaround. So use the t underscore to get the t and the p value, and then if you need to extract the group means, you can kind of leave it as the t dot test and just get rid of the paired equals true. And yeah, I know it's a little clunky, but that's kind of the best workaround I can think of just without going in kind of like changing the way that the data are set up. So I think those will kind of be the easiest way to do that. And yeah, that should be kind of like the only code that you would need to modify. Everything else should be, yeah, you should just be able to kind of hit run on it. So